Hello, welcome to 30 Minutes. I'm Rick Anthony. A while back, I told you I was planning to do one or more programs on dementia and Alzheimer's, topics that are of special interest to me because so many members of my family, friends are now afflicted with this terrible, terrible disease, and their families are the ones who seem to suffer the most. A terrible, debilitating disease that changes the lifestyles for everyone associated with it. The experts don't know what causes it, they don't know how to treat it, and they don't know how to prevent it. So the prognosis is not a happy one. My particular interest has been from the caregiver's perspective, because they're the ones, I think, who suffer the most in trying to care for their loved ones. So when I recently saw a newspaper article about a new play about Alzheimer's, and also noted that the person who was playing the lead was an old friend, Tom McCarthy, I took a special interest in learning more about what he was up to. So we invited him here today to talk about the play, the name of which is The King of East Jabip.
You got it.
I have to ask you where that came from. A play, in fact, written by his daughter, Kelly McCarthy, whom we have known since she was about that big, as I recall. So anyway, welcome, Tom, to 30 Minutes.
Thanks, Rick.
I did mention some of the other things I could have told, and I will mention as we go through this. You've had an outstanding career as an actor, a local actor, who's made a good living, film, stage, commercials, academia as well. You're one of the few, I think, who's been able to work steadily over the years.
There's some in the Philadelphia area. It used to be actresses would get to a certain point in their craft and right away hit New York or California. But over the last 15 years, I would think a lot of the actors are staying in Philadelphia, buying homes, getting married, having children. So the pool is deep for actors in Philly. And you'll see, I mean, a lot of the theaters that are working under professional contracts, they have good reputations now about the work that's being done.
A lot of film work being done in this city.
Yes, there is, and has been over the years.
Yes. How many
I was involved with this.
I know. How many of you been
Well,
in?
I've been in about 15 or 16
15?
of them over, yeah. But you see, as an actor in Philadelphia, you don't get a shot at a big role, because most of the time they're coming from California to shoot location in Philly, and they're picking up day players or week players maybe at the most, and then they're off and gone again. So you get what's out there and what you can audition for and grab that.
Well, over your career, you've played a variety of comedic as well as serious roles, dramatic
everything.
roles. I guess the one you are best known for is Death of a Salesman, for which you won the Barrymore Award. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw that, and you did a terrific job in that role.
Long time ago.
It was
Rick.
a long time ago, yes. Well, I don't know. You look the same to me. Do you have a preference, light over heavy?
No, it's weird, because some artistic directors that head up theaters think of you only as a comedic player, and some others think of you only as a dramatic player. It's very weird, and they go back and forth. It's hard to work against that as far as casting is concerned. Nobody wants to go against casting, against type. They want, if you're an old guy smoking, a street person, it's different than a banker is. And, it's a strange business. I've been doing it for 50 years. Can you believe it?
I know that.
50.
Yeah,
Scary.
amazing. Are you now what is called a character actor?
Have been. I think all my life a character actor.
I know you've been a character.
That's not
that
changed.
part is never in dispute.
No. Yeah, I'm not a good-looking guy and physique at the top of the area. It's a character actor, and so many good character actors out there in California.
Yeah.
Charles Durning, I'll tell you a quick story.
I loved him.
Great actor,
he was
great character guy.
Yeah.
And I had lunch with him once in Washington. We were doing plays in the Kennedy Center, and he said, Tom, I can't buy a job right now. I said, come on, Charlie, you're working all the time. He said, nowadays, he said, the guys like Jack Lemmon, who was living then at that point in time, who were major players who could carry a picture, now would step down to take the character roles.
Oh, is that right?
And a character guy like that is started to get. So you had stars coming down a break or two and doing the character roles.
Let me see. Was Charles? Was he the one who always played a priest? in his later
I'm
years?
sure he has, yeah.
Yeah, I remember at least one
Great guy,
role.
great guy.
Yeah, a funny guy, too.
Yep.
I did mention that the play, The King of East Jibip, was written by Kelly, your daughter. Is that the first time you and she have collaborated?
Well, she has been a writer over the years
Yeah.
and written for a couple of magazines here, and then did a stint of a number of years at Directors and Boards magazine, business magazine.
Yes.
And she interviewed all the CEOs and all that, given the bios on that.
The Rock family, don't they own?
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Milt Rock?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So she was there for years, and then she said, I'm going to try a play. I said, go for it.
So, what inspired her to tackle a subject like dementia and Alzheimer's?
Yeah,
Pretty dark, pretty complex.
Yeah, we've talked about it. She started the play with my character not having it. And during the writing of the play, she knew there was something inherently off a little bit on this guy. And she decided to make it Alzheimer's.
So what's the storyline?
Storyline is deciding whether he goes into a facility or he can stay at home, or how far along is it, how it's affecting the family, wife and daughter. There's only a wife and a daughter, and there's only 3 of us in the play.
Right.
So, but you can see it affects everybody. And the audience, Rick, if I tell you every night, we sold out almost every night, you could hear the tears because it affects almost every person.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cousin or a father-in-law, or I'm going to a funeral on Saturday. My wife's sister's husband just died from it. 6, 7 years of it.
Was this a particularly tough role for you to play?
No.
Either because
and I'll tell you why it wasn't tough.
You were playing out
and
Kelly's words.
That's exactly right. And I'm not just going to bump her up by saying it, but it's the truth. You're not intimidated if it's good writing, because it makes it easy. And this was an easy script for me. I mean, I've done Salesman, and I've done All My Sons, and a couple of hard, very insightful things about terrible things that happen to families, and somewhat difficult at times, but this one was easy to me.
Did you or she do any special research to get a better understanding of what dementia and Alzheimer's are all about?
She had a couple of doctors that in neurology, specialists in Alzheimer's, talked to them and interviewed them about it, and listened to a lot of caregivers from families who are, with that habit in the family. It's crazy.
Is there a sequel?
Well, there's not a sequel yet. However, the 2 guys that run that theater that we did it in Hamilton, the Eagle Theater, they decided to make a movie of it. So we're going to shoot a film of it in April for the month. Of course, not on stage.
A feature film?
Yeah. The whole play, but not on stage, in real live situations in Hamilton.
You and the same actress who played your wife? Yeah?
Yeah. So,
will it the same title, or are they retitling it?
Same title, as far as I know.
What?
I think it's Kelly's. She's signed up with all the Writers Guild and all that stuff, so she's covered by.
Tom, go back to the feedback you got from the audience. You said you could hear the sobbing and.
Well, after the audience, you go out, and you're going to go home, and there was always 15, 20 people there wanted to say hello, blah blah blah, and they would say, "You can't believe how close to the subject matter you folks are here, because I'm dealing with my husband now, I'm dealing with my wife." Everybody's affected. Everybody, almost. I mean, it might not be the immediate family, but it's a neighbor or a friend or something, and somebody in their family. So it's just a terrible disease.
I haven't seen the play. I wish I had known about it before. I read about it after the fact. But in this research I've done so far for the series I hope to do on dementia and Alzheimer's, and talking with people who spend their lives serving the people and the caregivers, I've asked them how they counsel older adults like ourselves.
Am I lumped in there, too?
No, well, okay, just on this side, this side, the older guys.
I'm the oldest here, I think.
What counsel they give them, because I am concerned now when I leave a room and forget why I left one room and into another.
Right.
And so you begin to wonder, am I beginning to slip over It just happens with old age.
It does.
Again, as a result of the play and living it, have you gained any special insights into what it's like and some of the anxieties that people have about slipping the disconnect with the present
I
as
think
well
everybody
as the past?
goes through what the disconnect
I
that you
hope
had.
so,
And I do too. You know, I think I lost my glasses in 1953. Haven't found them yet. So I think everybody has a little bit of that once they get a bit. I just turned 80, so I'm up there in age.
You look wonderful.
Now, I have come to believe, I can see it in their eyes when somebody gets almost vacant.
Yes.
And because I've known so many of them, especially this fellow that is going home, or going home to God, going home on Saturday. He had 6 years of it. And I knew him before when he was fine and healthy. And you could just see all of a sudden you knew that that was probably the problem. And then the diagnosis comes. And then, as you said, nothing they can do for it. There's nothing right now that's going to say, here's the pill, take that, and you're going to be fine.
The latest experiment I read about was, it was supposed to be the silver bullet. Lilly had it. They spent millions and millions of dollars.
I'm sure.
And it failed.
Well, whoever comes up with the right one, of course, is.
Yes, whoever comes up with the right one. But what I'm told, again, there may not be a right one, because just as there are 200 different types of cancer, there are multiple types of dementia leading up to and including Alzheimer's.
It's both of those diseases are difficult to handle for the caregivers, first of all, and for the poor souls that have it. And the dementia, it seems like you could live for a very long time.
Yes.
Whereas the other disease comes and within an average of maybe 4, 5, 6 years.
Yes.
The poor soul is gone, and nothing can be done except to make them comfortable. Now, sometimes you'll see them almost, I don't know what kind of pills they're doing, but you can see them almost happy. I don't know, is that the word to use, but just pleased with everything around them. And
it's another interesting point. We have friends.
That's right.
In 1 or 2 cases, they really turn nasty. My uncle.
That can happen.
He really turned nasty.
Yeah.
In others, just as you said, pleasant.
That's
still nice to be around.
That's right.
Quiet, subdued.
Yep.
It's amazing.
It's different in every one, I think.
This thing is something else up there that we just still don't understand.
Oh my.
What's behind the name of the title of the play, The King of
I think
East
it's an old
Jibip?
Philadelphia saying that Kelly came up with or talked about, and she came up with the King of Jibip, and she wanted me to be, you know, the king of his household, that kind of stuff. And I forget who. A mentor of hers was Michael Hollinger, who's a playwright on his own accord and teaches right here at Villanova. In fact, in the acting business, and he's terrific. And he was a mentor of hers, and she and he got together a number of times where it really had helped as far as the craft of concern. And I don't know if it was him or somebody else involved at the beginning of it, getting together. They said, you know, it sounds better with East Jibip. The King of East Jibip, and that was the old Philadelphia saying. Where do you live? I live down at 5th and Jibip. I'm east of Jibip or something.
So I vaguely remember that.
It's an old Philly saying.
Yeah, we both came out of West Philadelphia.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, indeed. A long time ago.
A long time ago. Yes, indeed. It certainly has changed since then. Those were good days. It was a good place to grow up.
It was a good place.
It was a great place.
Neighborhoods.
Yeah, exactly.
That was good. They don't have any sidewalks anymore.
No.
And I think that's a problem because the kids are staying in with their computers all the time. They're not out playing with the crowd of guys.
It's not because they don't have sidewalks. No. There's a whole other. That's a whole other show.
There is.
That's a whole other show. So what's next for Tom McCarthy?
Well, next, I stay busy. I don't work every day. Actors don't. They're not right for everything. But I do a lot of different things to make a living in the business. I do a series of academic quiz shows here in Delaware County.
That's been going on for years.
39 for me.
Scott
Can you
Paper Company
imagine?
was
Scott
the
Paper
sponsor?
Company initiated it 69 years ago. That's how long
Wow.
it's been going on, 69. And there's only been a couple of quizmasters. The last fellow that did it was the weather guy on Channel 10. I forget his name now. And he left Philadelphia, went in and they auditioned, and they offered me the job. I said, well, yeah, I'll do it for a season or two. Well,
It's
this
fun.
year is my 39th, and it's terrific.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it. The kids are great, not kids, students, young adults, and of course you're working with pretty much the best.
Where is it?
Kids out of
Where
each.
is it seen? How is it distributed?
We do it at every high school in Delaware County. So we do it in 21 schools. Then we have playoffs and national playoffs because they do it in 3 other states.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're Washington State and Arkansas.
Is it competition?
Yes, we do a national one contest at the end of the season when everybody's finished across the country. Pennsylvania won it last year. And I'll ask a couple of questions, and the other faculty advisors will ask the questions too to their teams, the ones they're used to. So it's a nice form of income. I enjoy doing it. The kids are great.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. It's a feel good. And of course, I haven't learned anything. I don't retain it. That's the.
But you know the questions.
I know
you
those
know
questions,
all the questions,
and I have those answers in front of me.
Yeah.
Over 39 years, not many things have
When
stayed.
will you next step onto a stage? You usually do a summer gig.
Yeah, sometimes I did. I did 10 seasons down at Cape May.
Yeah.
On that stage down there. I don't know. I've gotten to a point, as far as my age is concerned, not to retire certainly, but when the right job comes along, I'll jump at it. So last summer I had the nice time of a couple of months, or at least 6 weeks, doing nothing but sitting at the beach, and it was awful nice. If I can work the 9 months up here, fine, and then kind of take off the summer.
Of all the roles you've played on stage, not film, on stage, is there one that really pops out as the one you most enjoyed or felt you were at top of the game, top of your game?
Well, I probably think Death of a Salesman.
It had to be Death of a Salesman.
We had such a great cast. Greg Wood and Carla Belver, the top actors in Philadelphia coming up. That was probably darn close to 20 years ago. Scott Greer, he played my son. I mean, the top people. However, again, it came down to the writing.
Yeah.
Tony Braithwaite, another guy that was in that show. Hank DeLuca, who we just buried about a week and a half ago. He was in that show. But it was a pleasure to do it. It always goes back to the writing, and Arthur Miller just wrote a couple of beautiful plays in his lifetime, certainly.
The show you did, it was a solo. It was just you on stage, as I recall.
The Philly Fan.
The Philly thing. Yeah.
That I came up with the idea. I thought to myself, well, I'm not going to work every day of the year, and I can't get jobs all the time. I should put together a one-man show, so I could. So I thought of a Philadelphia fan, of not just one sport, but all the sports in Philly, of which I am. I'm a homer. I'll cheer our guys along, or girls, and then I thought, I can't write that good enough to script it.
Have you tried?
So no, I haven't.
Yeah.
Maybe I should, but I went to the Pew Foundation, and they loved the idea.
Oh, yeah?
And the Pew Foundation kicked in the money where I could hire Bruce Graham to write it, and Joe Canuso from Theater Exile to produce and direct it. And that's how we started. And we did it at the Fringe Festival first, downtown, and then I've done it in 15 different venues all over the place, including the Kimball Center. We did it in the Black Box down there for 5 or 6 weeks. And I just did it up in Montgomeryville, the Montgomery Theater up there.
So it's worked out pretty much the way you had
worked out
hoped.
great.
You can pull that out of the box anytime you want to.
And I usually do it once or twice a year. And but I always have to go back and memorize it a little bit. And change it. There's so much that happens in 1 week's time. Look at the Temple's coach going. You could write something about. I mean, it's amazing sports.
Well, that raises another question. You say Kelly is rewriting
For
King
script,
of
for film.
For film.
Right, different.
How is it different?
Well,
How is it adapted?
There's not that much dialogue needed in film. You can show some of it
sure.
through it. And the transitions are easier, I think, in film because you don't need dialogue forever. And all of a sudden you see the guy get out of his car and walk in the house. And he's going to shoot somebody, or he's going to, say something to his father, or so. So it's much different, and it's shorter. However, you have to have your stuff together to get it right.
Yeah.
Because it's down to the editing, really. It's the edits.
Absolutely.
The editors are so important. How to cut it, because if you cut it wrong, there's no way, you can't go back. You can't go back and reshoot.
I know you've appeared in other films, 15 or 16 of them.
Yeah.
But is this the first? Is it your first
lead
feature
kind
film?
of? No,
Lead?
not really. I've done a couple of them. I've done a thing with Beverly Hills Brats. It was with Martin Sheen. He was in it. I've done.
What was that?
It was a shoot we did in California. It was about a couple kidnappers. The kid that played the Christmas Story. Remember that movie?
Oh yeah, sure.
The kid.
Yeah.
He was in it too. It was me, him, and Burt Young, the guy from the Rocky movies. We were the kidnappers and all. And that was kind of a featured role for a long time out there. So I've done, I guess, 4 or 5 where Abscam, remember the Abscam scandals? I was the lead in that film that we did. And I'm trying to think of a couple more. But I've worked with a number of big-name actors where you still go to school, no matter how old you are. You're watching their work.
Yeah.
And I did, of course. I was happy to do it.
I don't remember seeing you in any of the Rocky series.
I did. Actually, I didn't do any of the Rocky series. My son Tommy was in one.
Yeah?
Yeah, he got a little part throwing a football in the street and a line or two. No, I didn't do any Rocky. I did both, and it was with another actor named McCarthy, Andrew McCarthy. He did 2 movies, and I was in both of them.
You know, I would think that once the film, The King of East Jabip, is out, it could potentially have the same impact as Rain Man did for autism. It made the nation aware of something.
Or Philadelphia for the AIDS.
Yes, yeah.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks.
Is that the hope of the producers?
I mean, they have
to make that kind of have that kind of an impact.
Yeah, but there's other impactful shows being written as we speak, or up on the boards as we do. It's a very
on the same subject, Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
I know there was one movie.
There's
that
a
I
fair
heard
amount
about.
now, and the film or two that is involved with it, because it's so prevalent now.
Yes.
And people are affected by it now. It's an awful thing. That's why I'm kind of glad I do have to keep memorizing.
Well, as you know, there's one camp that says you're absolutely right. You keep the brain going, and that's the best preventive measure you can take.
They don't know.
There are others who say it
know.
has nothing to do with
No.
it, and you're almost predestined. Your wiring,
genes,
way back.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
I learned that there is one type of dementia. It's called temporal frontal degeneration that afflicts people in their 20s and 30s.
My.
Because we always think of dementia as an old-timer's disease.
20 to 30s, they
imagine
think you're going to
that.
live forever. And not
Imagine,
have anything.
and again, from a caregiver standpoint,
That's the hardest
that's a long,
It really
long
is.
haul. That's
It's
heavy
hard,
duty.
and a lot of the times, well, it's probably 50-50, I have no idea, male and female. If the wife has to take care of the male,
Yes.
hard to do.
A friend of ours, she's a nurse, and she did it. And I've told this story because this is part of what prompted me to want to do the film. She would say to me when I would talk with her, check in, she said the hardest part is the loneliness, the sense of despair, and just seeing him fade away.
Because they're not.
It's horrible.
They're not there.
No, particularly in the earlier stages when they are still physically okay.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah,
But then she would give me reports. Well, he can't feed himself anymore. He's losing. He can't stand.
It hits the physical body.
Exactly, and everything
More
begins
than-
to break down.
yeah.
Sorry, folks. Didn't mean for this to be so depressing, but it is life. It is reality.
It is.
And that's what this
and
play
you have to
was
deal
all
with
about.
it, and hopefully they will deal with it and come up with some kind of an answer for it.
Can you give away the end of play and about to be the film?
Well,
What happens to what happens to you?
My wish in the film as the character would be to go back to Ireland and visit it one more time, which he had gone and loved it. And his uncle, cousin or somebody has a bar over there, and there's a thing with a letter coming from me. The cousin wants me to take over the bar, and my wife never shows it to me because of the illness, and she knows that I have something wrong. But the ending, as you posed the question, the ending was acceptance, both from the daughter, which was harder than the wife, and the wife telling the daughter how she was going to handle it. And then, I won't tell you the button on the end of the play because it's a very sad ending, but hopeful. So hopeful is the answer to the question. How does
during the play, is it known that you, the character, have Alzheimer's?
About 10 minutes into the play.
And is it identified as Alzheimer's, or just there's something wrong with Dad?
The word is not used until almost the end of the play.
Is that right?
Not until the end of the play. Everybody knows it. Audience certainly figures it out through the dialogue. And then they're arguing, the mother and the daughter, and they're arguing between each other who's going to stay around and take care of this one and this one. And I'm sitting in the living room as I've sat there before, not saying anything at that point, and them, the two other characters, thinking I'm not in the room or not hearing it, and I just let it out, big and strong and loud. Alzheimer's, he told me it was Alzheimer's. So that is not laid down until 10 minutes left in the play.
Does the script take into account whatever research has been done, any trials? Is there an attempt in the play to try to get you help?
Yes. Yeah.
And without, obviously, without success.
Right.
Yeah. Again, part of the agony of the whole experience, hoping that you're going to find somebody who will tell you something new. Come up with something new. No. Well, you've never played, I don't recall.
I played everything.
Well, no, I've never seen you sing and dance.
I've done it.
When?
When they pay me.
I don't mean at parties.
I've done probably 7 or 8 musicals. I do. A two-hander.
Oh, of course.
Just two people, a husband and a wife.
And didn't you do A Funny Thing Happened?
Funny Thing Happened. Yeah. I just did it at the Arden a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And did it at Hedgerow Theater, where I started in the '60s. I did it there years ago, so I did that show twice. I did a wonderful Dorothy Fields musical where I had to sing a fair amount. So I'm not a trained singer, but I can sell a song. You know, dancer, don't ask.
Okay, I won't ask. Yeah.
Can't make a move. Yeah. I walk good.
But Irish people can dance. I've seen it. I've actually seen it.
Yeah, but they need eight of those little brown beers called.
Well, it's been grand having you here. As I said, I wish I had seen the play. I look forward to seeing the movie.
Yeah.
And I hope you will give me whatever support you can as I try to put together our production.
Oh, sure.
Again, from a caregiver standpoint. It'll be more of a documentary.
Right.
And I'm working on it seriously now.
Yeah, documentaries are certainly much different than a regular film.
Yes.
However, there's the documentary channels on cable, and I look at them from time to time. It's darn interesting, and the subject matter is a lot of the time interesting. But I think as your audience watching this show, if anything, we want to leave them is hopefulness.
Yes.
You know, we certainly sooner or later something's going to be done about it and to come up with some kind of an answer. And because I know a lot of people are hurting out there.
And more to come.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. It was
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah.
My guest has been Tom McCarthy, who has been an actor 50 years in the making, still waiting for the big break.
Just give me the work.
Until next time, this is 30 Minutes. I am Rick Anthony. Take very, very good care of yourselves.